Hi everyone, my name is Paola Arletty, and since we're in fall time, that means it's time to plant some tulips. I've never planted tulips before, but this year I'm planning on planting 800 plus tulips because I just love the look of them and I think they're gonna look amazing the spring of 2021. Before we plant them though, I'd like to share with you the varieties I bought and where I'm planning to put them in our garden. Our garden is not very big, but I'm planning on having an over-the-top tulip show so that we can have huge impacts in such a small space. I think it's gonna look great. I have about 6 different varieties of tulips and they all bloom at different times. I have some early blooming tulips, mid blooming tulips, as well as some late blooming tulips that I think are going to just intermingle nicely when they bloom. I'm not sure how long these blooms will last, but I'm hoping that they can all bloom at least at the same time. At some point you can see the colors at the same time so that we can have a great color palette and scheme going throughout in the garden. In the front patio right now where we are in, I'm going to be planting about 600 out of the 800 I have, and the rest will go in our backyard. The majority of the tulips I got were purchased from colorblends.com, and what I like the most about this particular seller is that you can buy a whole bunch of tulips at wholesale prices. So I never really felt like I was spending a whole bunch of money for a huge impact that these tulips will provide. The initial investment could seem like a lot, but if you consider all the ones you receive and how long these tulips will serve you at the end, I think it's a good deal. The bulk of the tulips I have will be planted in this large flower bed where I have North Pole Arborvitaes and Atlas roses, as well as some Dusty Millers. These Dusty Millers are annuals, so I will have to be taking them out and putting the tulips in their place. I wish I didn't have to because I really love them. I love the contrast between the dark Arborvitaes and then the lighter foliage of Dusty Millers. But really my goal is to jam-pack this whole area with tulips, and I'm thinking I'll be able to fit about 600 or so of them in this particular space. I'm not really sure if in our area, which is a zone 7A, the tulips will return every single year. I'm not sure if they'll be perennials for us, so I'm treating them as annuals for now, which is why I'm not really worried about the spacing of the tulips. I'll also have tulips around this narrow bed, which also has Atlas roses, Dusty Millers, and everywhere where you see just open dirt is where the tulips will end up going. It's just gonna look amazing, and I'm pretty sure it'll stop traffic. Here in this other side, I'll be planting some more, and I'm not really sure if I want to do some tulips here by the pine tree, but I'll see how I'll be laying them out. Now I'll show you where some of the tulips will go in our backyard. So in this narrow bed I planted Russian sage, and we had a really wet summer, and these plants prefer full sun and dry conditions a lot of the times. So this is why they're looking a bit sparse and not as full as I thought they were going to look the first year. But here you can see we have a lot of opportunity to plant tulips. So I'm going to be having tulips in between all the Russian sage. And there's a rose bush which we will be taking out to plant something that reblooms all summer long, because this one just reblooms. This one just blooms once a year, and I don't really like that. I wish to have blooms at all times in the summertime. And then this is the other space where I'll be planting the rest of the tulips. It's an absolute mess right now, and we have lots of work to do here, but for now I have an Atlas rose right on the center, which was an extra one we had. This is a space that I'm very excited about because it's quite large. It's round, so I think one of the varieties which I purchased 100 of or 200 of, I'm going to be able to fit in here. and it's gonna look amazing. As you can see, these are all the tulips I have with me, and I'm actually waiting on a few more, but for now I'll be sharing these in the order in which they bloom. The first one we have is called Purissima Blonde, and the reason why I love these is because they have white blooms with a variegated foliage, which I think is going to look so impactful in the garden. I will be planting these along the perimeter so that we can see the foliage and they're not hidden behind other tulips. They're absolutely gorgeous, and they're early blooming tulips. The next one on the list are called Smooch, and they're actually, let me see where they are. Yeah, I have 100 of them right here, and these are a combination of dark colored blooms and lighter colored blooms that are pink, and I think they're going to be so nice. They're also early blooming, and they are about 16 to 18 inches tall, so I think they're going to look so nice behind the white Purissima Blondes. The next one on the list is a blend called White Cubed, and what these are is an early, mid, and late blooming white tulip, and it's right here. I have 200 of these. The reason why I love these and why I decided to put them in our space is because I wanted white blooms all throughout the entire spring season, so the fact that these have the 3 different blooming times is just perfect for us. Next, we have one called Purple, or Best Purple, which they're also known as Negrita, and they are just gorgeous purple blooms. I don't have them here right now. I'm waiting on those still, but I think they're going to look so nice with the next variety that it's my absolute favorite of the bunch, and these are called Akebano. I bought 300 Akebano tulips, and they're absolutely beautiful. They are a soft creamy yellow with a very beautiful red margin, and they're double, which is why I feel like I love them so much. Double blooms that bloom mid-season, and they're gonna coordinate just beautifully with a lot of the colors we have here. They also have a red little tinge that comes in at some point. I'm not really sure if they're receiving a lot of sun or more shade, but there's some red in there, and I think it's just gorgeous. Next, we have a blend called Metamorphic. And this particular blend is a blend of 3 different colors, pink, purple, and a soft blush white, which are just coordinating with the rest of the colors that I have before. And these 3 types of tulips are also double blooms. So I'm very excited for that. And I feel like I'm gonna put this in our backyard just because here I don't want them to be competing. Finally, there's a tulip called Elegant Lady, and these are late blooming tulips. I really love these because they are differently shaped from the rest, and I believe they're part of the lily family. The reason why I like these is because they're white blooms with a bit of a pink or purplish tinge to them, and it's gonna look just absolutely gorgeous with the sunlight that we get in this particular space. The whole front yard is not necessarily full sun because we have a huge pine tree which is right in front of me, and it casts a lot of shade, but I made sure to choose colors that would look very nice with the lighting conditions that we have here. So predominantly Akebano tulips will be the ones, a lot of yellow will be here in this space, but I also wanted to include some pinks, some whites, and some purples. And I'm hopeful that these color combinations will bloom at the same time at some point. One tip I have for you when you're ordering your tulips is that please get them early, because I remember I ordered them, I think late June or actually in July, and by September when I wanted to order some more, the varieties that I wanted were not available. So if you want to get your hands on good varieties that you are excited about and that you want to be planting in your garden, the sooner you get them, the better. Like I said, I purchased the majority of them at colorblends.com, but I also purchased, I think the Purissima Blondes were purchased in Bluestone Perennial. I'll post the website for you guys, but Color Blends is a great option to buy tulips. Your local garden center, any other online store really. If you're looking for a variety that you can find at your garden center, check for them online and just make sure you are happy with the tulips you find. Also, make sure you have 3 different blooming times so that you have tulips blooming the entire spring season. Isn't that what you want? You want to have a beautiful show of tulips after a gloomy winter, right? So these are the tulips I have, and I'll be having another video where I'm showing how I plant them and where exactly. Thank you so much for watching. Impact!